What's up, my eccentric units? It's the Sentiment here, so back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. So once again, going to review an anniversary pay-per-view. Last time I reviewed Bad Blood 97, that was the 25th anniversary of that pay-per-view. It was famous for the first Hell in a Cell match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, plus the debut of Kane. This time it's another anniversary pay-per-view. I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I think it was a week ago. It was the 20th anniversary of a pay-per-view I'm going to talk about right now. That is No Mercy 2002. This show was at the Old Hell Arena, or the Simmons Bank Arena right now in North Rock, Arkansas, on the 20th of October 2002. The attendance of the show was 10,000. No Mercy 2002 received about 300,000 pay-per-view buys, a slight downgrade than the 2001 show. That was the final No Mercy pay-per-view under the WWF name. That was during the Invasion storyline. The main event of that show was a triple threat match. Stone Cold Steve Austin defending the WWF title against Kurt Angle and Rob Van Dam. No Mercy 01 received about 325,000 pay-per-view buys. Those No Mercy shows, like, over the years, it's starting to decrease. I think the 2000 No Mercy show received about like 525,000, I think. The 2001 show received about 325,000. This show received about 300,000. And I think the next year's one got about under the 200,000 mark. You can tell it's starting to decrease on the pay-per-view buy rates because I think these autumn WWE pay-per-views, you know, they're getting like, okay, pay-per-view buy rates at the time. I think like sometimes these autumn pay-per-views in September and October, they end up being a hit or a miss. Anyway, so this is the first No Mercy pay-per-view under the WWE name because 2002 was a transformation year for the company. WWF became WWE. The Attitude Era. Fuck this whole. It ends at the at WrestleMania 17. Bullshit. Yeah, the Attitude Era became the Ruthless Aggression Era. Yeah, it was a transformation period for the company at that time. And fun fact: this is the one and only pay-per-view they held in the state of Arkansas. But very unusual. You know, yeah, I think they do shows in Arkansas, for a Raw and SmackDown, but not for another pay-per-view ever again. They never done like another pay-per-view in the state of Arkansas ever again. I don't know what the reason why. I don't want to go into details of it. So this show is memorable for two matches. The epic Hell in a Cell match between Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. We'll get to that later on. And that unification match for the World and Intercontinental titles. Triple H versus Kane with a bad angle, a controversial angle. We'll get to that match also later on. So, the commentators for the show. And by the way, this is the first No Mercy under the first brand split. This is a double branded No Mercy pay-per-view because the following year, I think the following 4 years, was it 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, they end up becoming a SmackDown exclusive show, and then in 2007, the last two shows under the first brand split will be a trio branded pay-per-view, Raw, SmackDown, and ECW, and then they brought back a decade later for the second brand split. Once a SmackDown show and once a Raw show. Anyway, so the commentators for the show, for Raw we got JR and the King. For SmackDown we got Michael Cole and Taz. So the first match to kick off No Mercy 2002. This is for the WWE Tag Team Championships. I'll get to that part later on after I talk about this match. We got Chris Jericho and Christian defending the belts against Booker T and Goldust. This is the start of this partnership between Jericho and Christian that lasted until 2004. They had the rivalry in 2004. It started at WrestleMania 20, think it ended at Vengeance in the ladder match. Christian was teaming up with Jericho because he used to be part of the Un-Americans with Lance Storm, Test, and Regal. They were kind of like Uber. I think they were just Canadians. Waving the American flag upside down. They're not like proper Canadians waving Canadian flags like the Hart Foundation in the 90s. No, they're just waving the American flag upside down. The group was disbanded, and I heard rumors that reports that Taz got hurt. So yeah, the group was broken up. It wasn't bad. It got some heat, nuclear heat. There were plans to have them have the American guys set fire to the American flag. Regal was totally against the whole idea. Really wants to do this, but like Christian and Storm and I think Tess totally against the whole idea to burn the American flag. Just because the heat is so nuclear that it's on the same level as Muhammad Hassan. They decide to don't want to do this, so Regal really wants to like burn the flag, but yeah, the group was disbanded. I think like Regal and Storm was teaming up, and Christian's now teaming up with Jericho. They won the tag team titles. Christian's look, wow, he had the long hair and the singlet. He ended up ditching the long hair and singlet. He ended up like cutting his hair, ditched the singlet. The Christian you see right now. Anyway, they beat down I think they beat down they had this feud between Booker T and Goldust, Jericho and Christian. I think they beat Jericho beat down Booker T. He's blooded, so they had this fight between Jericho and Booker T for weeks now, leading up to this match. So the match was decent. It was a really good match to kick off the pay-per-view. I think it was 10 minutes long. I think they made the most out of 10 minutes. It was back and forth. You had like stopping the hot tag with I think it was Booker T or Goldust. Well, no, I think it was Booker T. I think Booker T. The referee stopping Booker T because he didn't see the hot tag. I think it was famous. I think it was memorable for one thing. Like one more. I think it was the end of this match. I think. Before that, Goldust managed to hit he hit Christian with the Shattered Dreams while the referee's not looking, and then Goldust toe-hold Jericho onto Christian's balls. That was kind of a funny spot. Yeah, this match was kind of memorable for one spot. Like Jericho I think it was going for like the lion salt or some kind of like move off the top rope or something like that, but the middle rope kind of broke. That was kind of like a botch. It didn't really hurt this match, in my opinion. It was still good. I think Jericho kind of recovered, so he managed to hit like a moonsault off the top rope while the ropes kind of broke. He pins Goldust to win this match and retain the tag team titles. Very like forgettable of Jericho and Christian winning the tag team titles. You could say it's head cheese. I don't know how to say head cheese tag teams. It's not really like that because both Jericho and Christian are from Canada. I don't know. But besides that, Goldust and Booker T, that's head cheese, but that's head cheese tag teams. Put like wrestlers with random gimmicks, like teaming up in a tag team for whatever reason. Anyway, so it was a good match to kick off the pay-per-view. Yeah, the ring broke, or the ring ropes, the middle ropes kind of broke. It didn't like affect me. It didn't like, oh, this was shit. No, I think they made the most out of 10 minutes. It was a fun match to kick off the pay-per-view. And I think this is the last time they officially call the WWE Tag Team titles. They did the SmackDown did their tag team title match. We'll get to that later on as well. Yeah, I think they didn't really retire the tag team belts. I think they end up renaming it, call it the World Tag Team Title belts. Right now we've got the Raw and SmackDown tag team belts. It's now the unified tag team belts that's held by the Usos. It's for the best, man. Otherwise it gets confusing. I'm glad they add tag team belts. 2 tag team belts in 2 brands instead of doing like the women's at the time. Do it just one belt. So yeah, they kind of ditched the old the old WWE tag team titles or WWF tag team belts and just recall it and just rebrand it as the World Tag Team Title belts. So let's move on to the next match. I think the next two, the next three, starting to the show kind of went downhill a bit. So the next match, this is for the women. We got Tori Wilson taking on Dawn Marie. This is part of the storyline between Dawn Marie having this affair or love storyline with Tori Wilson's real life dad, Al Wilson. You know, they were like, yeah, Dawn kind of show Al her bikini, giving Al her hotel key for her hotel into her hotel room. Sorry, I'm stumbling. And also like they end up Dawn kissing Al in the while she's in the shower, and Tori saw her. Yeah, this is a crappy storyline. I don't want to get in details of it. So yeah, this interview before the match with Funaki interview Al Wilson. You had Funaki interpret if Al have this affair with Dawn Marie, and and Al Wilson had that line says, "I didn't have that sexual relationship with that woman." I think it's referencing Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton had that affair while he was the president of the United States of America. That was around the 90s, because at the time the U.S. president at the time was George Bush Jr., George W. Bush. Right now it's Joe Biden. Anyway, so the match between Dawn Marie and Tori Wilson, it was okay. It was just an okay match. It wasn't terrible. I heard like some matches were terrible. It was kind of passable. I'm glad they made it short for the best. In the end, Tori Wilson hit Dawn Marie with the swinging net breaker. Basically, this show's got a mixture of matches between one WCW versus ECW, because Tori Wilson was in WCW and Dawn Marie was in ECW. They're not known for their wrestling when they were in their companies. I think Dawn Marie was a manager towards Lance Storm and Just Incredible, the Impact players, and Tori Wilson was a valet, also in WCW. They were never known for their wrestling. I think Tori went on to wrestle until she left the company, and until she appeared in the Women's Royal Rumble matches, in recent years. So, and she's only young, Al Wilson was in her like 60s at the time, or 50s and 60s. Tori Wilson, right now she's 47. Back then she was 27. I thought it's an actor, but it's actually her dad. And sadly, Al Wilson died in 2019 at the age of 77, 78. Sad news. Yeah, they did his whole storyline. I think it was in late 2002, early 2003, when Al was written off due to a kayfabe storyline death. Died of a heart attack. And Tori and Dawn ended up fighting in a fucking funeral home. Fucking offensive. I don't want to get into it. It's these fucking storylines. I'll get to one of the most controversial angles later on. So, it was an okay match. Wasn't terrible. Wasn't an all-time classic, because they're not really ring gems. Talk about Tori Wilson and Dawn Marie. So the next match, another WCW ECW match. We got the Nature Boy Ric Flair taking on Rob Van Dam. RVD fought Triple H for the world title at Unforgiven the previous month. Yeah, Ric Flair cost RVD the title when he hit RVD with the sledgehammer to the ribs. That led up to Ric Flair aligned himself with Triple H. This is the start of planting the seeds of the formation of Evolution, bringing in Randy Orton and Batista to the group. The match was, it was just, I'll get to that shortly. The promo was good with RVD, man. He's just basically taking fun of Ric Flair's styling, profiling, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, son of a gun. He ended up doing the woos. That was a crappy woos. He ended up doing marking Ric Flair's strutting. I think RVD called himself, he is a chair swinging, risk taking, frog splashing, wing wanging, fan dominator. It was kind of funny to mark Ric Flair's catch his trademark. The match really was okay. There was no chemistry between RVD and Ric Flair, because at the time I think Flair was 20 years older than RVD. I think RVD is about 32 and Ric Flair is 53. Yeah, you got WCW versus ECW. Ric Flair is Mr. WCW and RVD's Mr. ECW. Yeah, the chemistry did not match in this match. So, RVD just had the momentum in the early parts of the match, and then Ric Flair worked on the leg of RVD, locked him in the figure four leg lock, trying to keep it short and simple. In the end, RVD got the victory, hit Flair with the Rolling Thunder and the 5-star frog splash for the win. Yeah, I think the Triple H feud, again, kind of buried RVD, and RVD was not relevant until when he wins the WWE title from John Cena at ECW 1X10 2006, and he fucked himself up. That's another story for another time. So it was an okay match, wasn't terrible. It was just kind of mediocre. Felt like a match you'd probably see on Raw, not at a pay-per-view at the time. They're spending a lot of money. That was match number 3. Match number 4, I think it picks up some momentum. This is for the Cruiserweight Championship. We got Jamie Noble with Nidia in his corner defending the belt against Tajiri, because at the time Jamie Noble was in his relationship with Nidia, the trailer park couple. And I watched some clips, that is fucking entertaining, Jamie Noble and Nidia there. I think they got good chemistry. They had this boyfriend-girlfriend match on SmackDown. Tajiri was the special guest referee, and afterwards Noble and Nidia beat up Tajiri to set up this match. Match was good. I really enjoyed this match. I think he's kind of got some chemistry. Both style completely different. And this is another WCW ECW match, because you got Jamie Noble used to wrestle in WCW, and Tajiri used to wrestle in ECW. I think they did well. I think one more in the match, they did an electric chair spot. I really liked the chemistry. Nidia got involved. She didn't interfere a lot. I think she kind of kissed the referee or snog in the referee. That's Earl Hebner. Try to keep it short and simple. Noble hit Tajiri with the Tiger Bomb, but he kicked out. I think Tajiri was going for a roll up or something, but Nidia kind of tripped up Noble. Looks like he counted it to win this match and retain the Cruiserweight title. Then afterwards, Tajiri kissed Nidia, and then they did kind of a kiss contest. Who is the best kisser? So Noble's about to kiss Nidia, and Tajiri kind of roundhouse kicked Noble in the back of the head, and he kind of landed onto Nidia, and that was it. So 1 year later, they ended up doing this storyline when Tajiri kind of spit the black mist into the face of Nidia. She became blind. That's another story for another time. But besides that, this was a good match. Noble's very underrated, an underrated worker. His first one was underrated. When he came back to the company in 2014, that was stupid because the whole J&J Security, they were producers at the time. There were small security guards with, at the time, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. That is completely stupid because Rollins taller than Noble and Mercury. I think they were 5'9", 5'8". I don't want to get into that. So moving on to, this is a winner takes all match. This is for the World Heavyweight title and the Intercontinental Championship. Triple H, the world champion, putting his title on the line against the Intercontinental Champion Kane, who's also putting his title on the line. So I think Kane. So this is happened after SummerSlam when Brock defeat The Rock at SummerSlam. It's a show I reviewed this past summer. It was, it was August was the 20th anniversary of that show. Go and check it out. So Brock defeat The Rock for the undisputed WWE title. So he ended up going to SmackDown. So Raw needs a world championship. So Bischoff bring back the big gold belt, the world heavyweight title, and award it to Triple H. So Triple H had this a mini feud with RVD. He had the feud with RVD. And again, that's like kind of completely buried RVD in the process. You know, Ric Flair helped Triple H win. Flair turned heel. And I think the build up to this, Triple H had this mini feud with Bubba Ray Dudley, because at the time the Dudleys were split up because Devon doing his own thing on SmackDown. I think Bubba and Spike were, you can say, as a team on Raw. So Bubba fought against Triple H for the world title and lost. He wasn't ready at the time. You know, this is a decade before he became Bully Ray in TNA. So they announced, Bischoff announced they're going to do this unification match at No Mercy. Kane won, I think he won the title against Jericho, and also he fought in that TLC 4 match. That was another unforgettable TLC match in the company's history. This has set up one of the most controversial angles of all time. So this is the whole Katie Fix storyline. So Triple H accused Kane for being a murderer, and Triple H. I remember Triple H holding a mannequin or something, or dummy, pretend to be being Katie Fick. That was completely stupid. I think this one clip, I don't think they're not going to show ever again. I think they cut it off the WWE Network. I think, Triple H, he was wearing a Kane's mask. He was completely not naked, but half naked, fucking a mannequin in a funeral parlor. I'm sorry, that's very rude. That is very controversial and offensive. These Ruthless Aggression era storylines, they end up being stupid because it's going into that soap opera drought. Because I think the reason why they're doing that, because at this moment in time, WCW was out of business, so they're trying to compete with other shows on TV like Law and Order and CSI and Jerry Springer. So I'm guessing, but it was fucking so offensive seeing Triple H do it. I think it's called necrophilia. It's called seeing fucking a dead body in a casket in a funeral home. I'm sorry, not cool. And Triple H had some evidence that Kane's semen was in the car, because Kane said he met Katie in a party. She had too much to drink. Kane drove her home, and then Triple H accused that Kane was also drunk. So Katie died in a car crash. So they brought about a decade later. During the start of the Team Hell No tag team, Kane did not refer Katie as Katie Fix. So he said I had a girlfriend called Katie. Anyway, so it was an offensive storyline. The match between Triple H and Kane, I think it's the worst match of the night by far, man. It started. I thought when I watched this match, I heard it's bad, but when I watch it with my eyes, I thought I'm gonna give it 3 stars, but it was overbooked. You got interference by Flair. You got a cameo appearance of the Hurricane. Triple H pedigreed Hurricane outside the ring. Flair interfered too much. I think Kane chokeslammed Triple H onto the announce table. Flair trying to chop Kane's chest, but he's not selling the chops. Too much interference by Flair. I think Kane kicked out the belt shot by Triple H. I think Kane was going for a tombstone power driver, but Triple H hit him with a low blow with the sledgehammer. So in the end, Triple H hit Kane with the pedigree to win this match, and not just retain the World Heavyweight title. And he went on to win the IC title. I think it was the third time or fourth time, because he won it. Really, they feuded the previous year in 2001. That was the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker and Kane, taking on Austin and Triple H, the two-man power trip. Triple H defeat Kane. I think it was all the gold titles at Backlash, and then I think Kane defeat Triple H at Judgment Day 2001, the following month of that year. You know, I reviewed those shows, Backlash 01 and Judgment Day 01. Go and check it out. So it's not new. So, and this was the last time the IC title was defended on a pay-per-view. Yeah, they brought it back in Judgment Day 2003, the following year. But why they did that? They did this video package of guys who held the belts, like Austin and Michaels and Razor Ramon and I think it was Steamboat and Pat Patterson. And why they're retiring it? I don't get it, man. Because the IC title was the second prestigious title alongside the WWE title in the company's history, and why are they retiring it? You know, because at this moment in time they retired both the hardcore and the European title, and also they retired the light heavyweight division. They retired the light heavyweight title as well. That was like late 2001, early 2002. So they got no titles to fight for. You know, it's just the undisputed WWE title, the World Heavyweight title. You got the tag team belts. We'll get to the SmackDown one afterwards. So, and the women's title. So they got nothing to fight for. Yeah, they end up bringing back the IC title, like I said, and SmackDown bring back the United States title. You know, but yeah, it's completely stupid. Why? I understand why they're giving it a break. I think at the time the Intercontinental title is 23 years old at the time, so maybe they give it a break. You know, maybe they decide to bring it back in the future, but I'm glad they did it. But I think it's stupid. You know, why could have Triple H, you know, vacant the IC title and did the title, maybe do the next night on Raw, did the rematch, and this time for the IC title, Kane regains the title, and that's it. You know, the two storylines really did Kane dirty. You know, the two rivalries Kane did Kane dirty is his feud with Triple H in 2002, and also his feud with Shane McMahon in 2003. It did Kane dirty. You know, it's just what it is. It buried Kane in those storylines. So, you know, they end up fighting in 2003 on Raw for the world title. That led up to Kane unmasked, and the rest is history. So, I say, yeah, this was the worst match of the night. So moving on to, this is the finals of the SmackDown WWE Tag Team Championships. We got Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle taking on Rey Mysterio and Edge. So, like, yeah, they decided to do a SmackDown Tag Team division to compete with the Raw Tag Team division. You know, Raw, like I said, Raw, the WWE Tag Team titles become the World Tag Team title. So, this is during the storyline between Benoit and Angle. They fought at once again. Stephanie McMahon, who is she was the SmackDown GM at the time, kind of forced to put Kurt Angle and Benoit in a tag team. If they, you know, if they refuse to do it, they end up being suspended for a year. So they end up fighting. I feel like in that video clip, you know, they're kind of fighting because I think Benoit got his hand raised by the referee, and then Angle got pissed off and made the referee raise his hand. It's a shame, you know, it never lasts. I think they had good chemistry between Benoit and Angle. And this is also with the Guerreros, you know. The tease like Chavo's teaming up with Angle and Benoit, but instead it was a Rouge. Then early this show, you know, you had I think Benoit informed Eddie that Chavo was in danger. You see Chavo getting attacked by Angle. Eddie doesn't believe it. Eddie was a bit of a dumbass. Chavo he got attacked by Kurt Angle, and Eddie trying to go after Angle. I think they were heels at the time, Eddie and Chavo. This is very confusing. The heel versus heel rivalry just never worked in professional wrestling. So, anyway, this match between Benoit and Angle and Ray and Edge, this was good, man. This was really fucking good. The SmackDown 6, man, for at the time. I think it's established that the SmackDown show is the wrestling show and Raw is just the entertaining show, and then vice versa. The start of the second brand split, Raw became the wrestling show and SmackDown the entertaining show. Anyway, so the match was really good. It was very fast paced, good chemistry. Angle and Benoit are the technical style workers. Yeah, Benoit ended up doing the flying headbutt, raised the high flyer. Edge at the time before the neck injury, he did some high flying spot, but he's very athletic. I think there's too much to cover. I'll cover some spots. There was a comedy spot when Ray kind of patting Kurt Angle's bald head. Yeah, that was it. I think Edge assists Ray hit Benoit or Angle with the Hurricane Runner off the top rope, and Angle suplex Ray off the top rope. This was it was fast paced shit. I really enjoy it. It was back and forth. Benoit locked in the cripple crossface onto Edge. Edge trying to fight out, but Ray hit Benoit with a 619 while locking the submission hold. So in the end, Angle locked in the ankle lock onto Edge, and also Edge, like before that, he locked in the ankle lock. I think Edge counted it, and Edge applied his own version of the ankle lock. That looked shit. So in the end, Angle for the second time managed to lock in the ankle lock onto Edge. Edge tap out, and Angle and Benoit became the first SmackDown, or actually the first WWE Tag Team Championships. It's very confusing. I'm glad they call it the SmackDown Tag Team titles in our current timeline. So, in this match, they're not really totally against the whole idea. They put their differences aside for this match, and they did. I think they ended up dropping the tag team titles to Ray and Edge. And at the time, Edge was starting to become a single star. And also, Edge and Angle had really good storyline chemistry, because they had two good matches at Judgment Day and Backlash. It's a shame they didn't have more matches, because Angle ended up leaving to TNA in 2006, and when Angle came back in 2017, Edge was retired for 6 years, and by the time Edge came back from his retirement, Angle was already retired and left the company. So it's a shame they didn't have more matches, because I think Angle, Benoit, Ray, I think they carried the rest of the Ruthless Aggression era alongside John Cena and Batista and Orton. I call it the Ruthless Aggression 7. I don't put Brock in that category because Brock didn't stay in that period that long. He left in 2004. Anyway, so let's move on to the next match. I think it's the second best match of the night. I'd say second best match of the night. And I've done my research that this match received 5 stars by Dave Meltzer. I think the next time they did that was, it was Angle Sean from 2005. I heard recently Dave Meltzer gave Sheamus a 5-star match. I think it was against Gunther. I think it was at Clash of the Castle, and that was the best. And that was the first 5-star match received by in Sheamus' career. He got 5-star match reviewed by Dave Meltzer of his match with Gunther Stark. So it's cool. That was recently that when a WWE pay-per-view a match got 5 stars. I think Cody and Seth also got 5 stars. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is for the Women's Championship. Trish Stratus defending the belt against Victoria, because at the time they had one women's title. Yeah, they bring up the Divas title years later in 2008. Got rid of that, and right now we got the Raw and SmackDown women's title, plus the women's tag team titles. Don't want to get into that. So Trish won the title from Molly Holly at Unforgiven. Then weeks you had Victoria being down Trish to lead up this match on the show. Keep it short and simple. It was a short match. It was mediocre. It was it was just mediocre, not fleshed out. Should have had more time. In the end, Trish rolled up Victoria for the win. And then afterwards, Victoria attacked. This is sort of a hardcore match at Survivor Series. Note, I will review Survivor Series 02 next month, because we're very close to the 20th anniversary of that show. And I think the storyline going into that match at Survivor Series, Victoria and Trish used to be fitness models. Trish pushed Victoria out, so it led up to Victoria become this with this lesbian character. That's another story for another time. So let's move on to the main event. So the main event, this is the Hell in a Cell match. This is for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar defending the belt against The Undertaker. After Brock defeat The Rock at SummerSlam, he feud with The Undertaker. He ended up stalking The Undertaker's wife, Sarah, at the time. Right now, he's married to Michelle McCool. So, on SmackDown, Undertaker had this Falls Count Anywhere match against Matt Hardy. Brock attacked The Undertaker and broke his arm with a, what was it called, a propane tank? It was some kind of metal tank. He kind of rammed it into The Undertaker's hand, broke his hand in the process. So, and Stephanie give Undertaker permission to use the cast because he's still going to compete in that Hell in a Cell match. So, and also they did another soap opera storyline with this girl called Tracy Daly, I think she's called, accusing The Undertaker, Mark Calloway, because he had this affair with him. He accused The Undertaker having this affair with Sarah while they're still together. Undertaker cleared the air that she was in this relationship with Tracy before she got together with Sarah. I don't know. It was completely stupid, man. It's just, I don't like these storylines, man. It's just, no purpose in professional wrestling. If I want to watch that, I'd rather watch, I don't know, a soap opera, or even Jerry Springer, man. Everything has to be in a Jerry Springer, man. It's stupid. Having this woman to accuse The Undertaker for having an affair because she wasn't in a relationship 7 years before meeting Sarah. I totally don't get it, man. So it's just like this stuff and Brock stalking Sarah. Come on, man. Give me a fucking break, man. It's stupid. So I think this is technically the match of the night. Between Brock and Undertaker. I think they got good chemistry. It was really good. All three guys bleed buckets, Heyman is basically shouting. That was entertaining. Said, Brock, Brock. He got kicked in the face by The Undertaker and also grabbing his tie and rammed his face into the cell wall. Heyman was bleeding. Brock was bleeding. Undertaker he was bleeding buckets, man. I think he took a steel steps into the face. That was he was bleeding really face completely. He was covered in blood, man. I was puking, but that was really good. Yeah, the whole bulk of the match had Brock working on the injured arm or the injured hand of The Undertaker. Like one more of the match, Brock and Heyman basically, they kind of tie Undertaker's injured arm or injured hand. My apologies, I'm speaking too fast. He tied his injured hand onto the cell wall. Heyman hold it, and Brock kind of grabbed the chair and smacked Undertaker's hand multiple times with the chair. Undertaker kind of sometimes selling the injured hand, but at the same time not selling the injured arm. He kind of used the injured arm while hitting Brock with the old school. Hit Brock with the last ride, but he kicked out. I think Brock hit The Undertaker with one F5 for the win. And then during this match, he had Heyman shout, "You're going to die." Heyman kind of add flavor to this match. He's been this yappy lapdog because at the time he was managing Brock Lesnar. Right now he's managing the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. So Brock won this match, and afterwards he climbed on top of the Hell in a Cell structure, raising the belt to end the show. Undertaker took some time off, and then also early on the show you had this confrontation between him and Big Show and Bischoff, because Bischoff told Big Show not to talk to Stephanie, because Big Show pissed off because Big Show was pissed off for not being on a pay-per-view match, because he never been on a pay-per-view match since July. I think it was at Vengeance. So this has led up to Big Show going to SmackDown. He write off The Undertaker. Undertaker returning the start of 2003, feuding with the Big Show, leading up to their match at WrestleMania 19 in that handicap match between Undertaker, A-Train, and the Big Show. So that's another story for another time. So, and also this is the last time Brock would defend the undisputed WWE Championship. I don't know if this pay-per-view is the last time they officially call it. This is the last time they call it the Undisputed Championship. Before they just call it the WWE Championship. I don't know. Maybe Survivor Series. I don't know. So, yeah, Brock ended up dropping the title to the Big Show at Survivor Series at MSG. Heyman turned on Brock. Brock turned babyface, and Brock went on to win the Rumble, regained the title. I think it was two or three more times before leaving the company after WrestleMania 20. That's another story for another time. So, my final rating of WWE No Mercy 2002, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think this was a strong, good show. Besides all the only two bad matches on the show has to be the Trish versus Victoria women's title match, and also Triple H and Kane. That was stupid. It was a shit match. We was basically overbooked with Flair interference and referee bumps. But the only thing in the okay for me has to be Dawn Marie versus Tori Wilson. It was short and simple. And there are a lot of good matches on the show, man. I think the two tag team title matches delivered. The opener was good. I like the cruiserweight title match between Tajiri versus Jamie Noble. The two best matches of the show has to be the crowning of the first WWE Tag Team Championship on SmackDown, Rey Mysterio versus Edge versus Benoit and Angle, and the Hell in a Cell match between The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. I think it's one of the last great Hell in a Cell matches, and including the blood. It's funny that 6 years later they end up banning blood. We're never going to see that truly great Hell in a Cell match ever again. It's got to be in the top 5 best Hell in a Cell matches of all time. It's funny that currently, early this year, we had that Hell in a Cell match between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes when Cody had that torn pec. That was really good. I think that also got like a 5-star review by Dave Meltzer, I think. I'm not too sure. But that was really good. So yeah, I suggest watching WWE No Mercy 2002. It's not a great show, but it was a fun show to watch. So anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my review of WWE No Mercy 2002. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the like button. Click the like, click the bell. Subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. So after October, next time it's November. It's the return of the Survivor Series season. For the month of November, I'm going to review some classic Survivor Series pay-per-views. I think I'm going to do it because November we got the World Cup in Qatar. So I will do some World Cup watch-alongs of some matches. And at the same time, reviewing some old school classic Survivor Series matches. So, shows, my apologies, I'm speaking too fast. It's late. So anyway, so let's go into the late 2000s, I'm going to the late 90s, to the early 2000s, let's go to the late 2000s. I got a DVD of a classic Survivor Series of that decade, and it's in my mind. You got John Cena returning, you had this triple threat match, or self-proclaimed triple threat match, Triple H, Vladimir Kozlov, and Edge. You know what I'm talking about, and plus Big Show and Kane. It's like Undertaker, Big Show, my apologies. You know what I'm talking about. The next, the first Survivor Series pay-per-view to kick off the Survivor Series season, I'm going to review Survivor Series 2008. This is Essential Man officially signing out, and that's my review of No Mercy 02. I give it a thumbs up.